This is City and State TV. I'm Nick Powell, City Hall Bureau Chief with City and State. Joining me today is Angela Sung Pinsky, Senior Vice President at the Real Estate Board of New York. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Angela, you come out of the Bloomberg administration. You worked under Dan Doctoroff, who was Bloomberg's deputy mayor.
Correct.
So, what are some things that you learned under Doctoroff that you've taken with you to your job at Rebney?
Well, I actually worked under both Dan Doctoroff and Robert Lieber, were the two deputy mayors for economic development in the Bloomberg administration while I was there. And I learned a lot. It was my first job after urban planning school, and it was my first real job in public service. And everything I know about government was really done in the crash course of those 5 years. So I started on the Olympic bid, which was an amazing overview of what the city's potential and possibilities could have been for development had the Olympics come here. And I think that laid the foundation for a lot of the rezonings and development that we've seen since then. And then I moved on to the Greenpoint-Williamsburg rezoning, and I worked on Plan YC, and all of those gave me a different perspective of the possibilities that the city and the administration could achieve. I think in lots of different ways at that time, the city was moving aggressively in several directions to try and promote New York City, to diversify the economy, to grow the population. And I think in a lot of ways, many of those initiatives were very successful. So it's given me a good tool set to understand what the resources the city has at hand to be able to initiate certain policy changes.
Now, transitioning over to Rebney, which is obviously a very powerful trade organization, how was that for you? Was it difficult going from city government to then the private sector?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, and like anyone else who leaves public service, I think that there is a lot to miss in not working for the city anymore. But I was really pleasantly surprised when I came over to Rebney. My function at Rebney to work in the trade organization part, I'm not really involved in the day-to-day operations of real estate. We work on policy issues that are important to the real estate industry. And in the sense that all of these organizations, especially the ones who have been in New York for several generations, there is a deep understanding that the health of your company is really dependent on the health of the city as a whole. And so a lot of the things that we worked on at Rebney when I came here were the same issues that we were working on at the city. So Plan YC, I now work on a lot of the sustainability issues that mirror the private sector portion of what the plan had laid out for the next 25 years. So I'm actually very involved in many of the same projects that I was working on when I was at City Hall.
Now, we have a new administration that just took office with Bill de Blasio. Now, you obviously had a lot of connections in city government from your time under Bloomberg. When there's this transition, does anything change for you in your role at Rebney?
Yeah, I would imagine. We just started, so it's hard to say. This is my first transition. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how many people have decided to stay with the agencies that they've been at. I think that they have a lot of institutional knowledge that will be very valuable for the city going forward. So it's not a full new class of people, but of the people that are coming with this new administration, if I don't know them personally, a lot of people that I work with seem to have at least some familiarity with them. So hopefully, it will take some time to get to know everybody on a personal level, but I do think that as an organization, we still have the same abilities to reach out and communicate with the administration.
Now, you lobby both on the state and federal, city, state, and federal level,
Correct.
Right? So, what are some things that you've been pushing for Rebney that, without going into too much detail, that you'd like to discuss?
Sure. On a federal level, I think our main priorities coming up are some programs that are about to sunset. So, the Terrorism Risk Insurance Act is due to sunset at the end of 2014. We have been working with the federal delegation and also particularly Congressman Grimm on getting an extension of that program. The private market has a very difficult time of providing terrorism insurance programs because it's very difficult to assess the risk and the magnitude of events when they do happen. Some other issues that we're working on, the Interstate Land Sales Act was was a program that wasn't designed to affect condo buildings, but in recent years has been used by purchasers of condos to be able to have an option to exit their contract, which was bad for new condo developments. And so, led by Congresswoman Maloney, the House had passed an amendment to that. It was a unanimous vote, which is shocking in this Congress. So now Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand are taking the lead on that initiative in the Senate, which we're really hoping will pass this year. And then Congressman Crowley has also been advocating for a change to FIRPTA, which is the Foreign Real Property Investment Act. And in 2011, it had passed with a lot of bipartisan support. He reintroduced it in 2013. We're hoping that that can find some traction and move forward as well.
Great. Angela Pinsky, Senior Vice President at Rebney, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.